that guy, my buddy. We want you to be invested in this project. So when you come to Mr. Danziger a week from now and say, oh man, I'm really struggling with ideas, we're open to the concept that your project will shift and change. So it's about just deciding on something, a topic area that you're interested in, rather than jumping right to an idea. Oh, I got this really cool idea for my project. And those of you guys who are in Innovation Studio or have worked in this space know the quality of our projects is much higher when we use this process. So if you engage with Ms. H, Mr. Danziger, and I as we start to create this brainstorm, I think the quality of your projects and the interest level that you have for it is going to be higher. So, in order to do that, Ms. H looks like she's going to be a perfect scribe. We're going to start brainstorming ideas here. And the concept that we're looking for right now is not project ideas. I don't want you to tell me you're going to laser cut something. You may very well laser cut something. Right now we're going bigger picture. And we're going to focus on two things. One is kind of like topic for climate change. Like what are some of the things we need to be looking at here at Fessy? And then secondarily, we're going to start talking about locations on campus that we think could be of interest. So with that as our framework, I want guys to just start raising hands. We're going to throw out some ideas. We're going to get some sticky notes. What are some either topics for climate change or locations on campus that will be of particular interest?
Well, for a topic of climate change, there's meat, food. There's a lot of waste.
Excellent. So food waste, right?
And then for a location for that, you have the kitchen.
Excellent. All right. So this is exactly what we're looking for. We're just spitballing and getting a bunch of information here about sort of the big bucket topics that we are going to need to tackle if we're going to do this well. So we got food waste, dining hall. Awesome. Plastic? Okay, so plastics, trash, waste, I would put maybe that under all of those categories. And in terms of locations for that, Aditya? So like fields, outdoor campus, I would maybe say, / outdoor campus.
I want to say like carbon emission and pollution. And what are the locations that as a multiplayer, like I think that goes.
Did you plan him?
I had a meeting, Coda, with Mr. Grossman yesterday, and he was very excited about looking at the hockey rink as a whole, as the most inefficient building on campus.
Like, there's sometimes like when I go in the morning, something not today, but like when I go to drop off my stuff, like no one's using the ice rink. It's super old.
Yep.
And I might be because of the outside temperature.
Yeah. So this is a precedent that Mr. Danziger brought in.
So there's all over the world now, there's what's called eco rinks that are going up. They're using, what?
In Seattle?
Yep, there's one in Seattle. They're using these different ways of what are called chillers to create different eco-friendly systems. And this is, you go back to the, go down one more. Bentley University created the world's first and most sustainable hockey rink. Just down the road. And so it's actually, it produces 50% of its own electricity on site, and the rest is sustainably produced. And it reached what's called LEED certification, LEED. And most big buildings can obtain that through a lot of great measures. But hockey rink is pretty incredible that they were able to do that as well. So hockey rink's awesome.
Oh, so we couldn't have planted that one even better. Keep going though. Let's keep spitballing here. What are some other ideas here?
Loud.
Recycling. Excellent. So I would say classrooms for sure. There are lots of locations and thoughts about recycling. When we do this brainstorm with teachers, a lot of times we also have a third board here that would say like partners. And so some of the things I think that are going to be important is thinking about our buildings and grounds staff and others. So those will be some people who are probably going to be helpful for us. Nice. Okay, so energy efficiency, do we have that up there?
I would like efficiency in general, but we could do electric.
Yeah, Yeah, let's do electrical efficiency. Excellent.
I was gonna say that.
So that would be carbon emissions. Right, carbon emissions, and we're gonna do buses. Maybe just like slash pickup, right? I mean, there could be a project around this kind of data that we just have been looking at.
What could you guys think about in terms of how we create our energy? Where are we getting our energy from?
Like power plant.
We can build a dam in that like
Okay, we want to avoid going into projects yet. I know that's the tempting thing to do, and you're all going to have lots of ideas. That's why we're doing this project. But we want to stay on course here in terms of this. So CO2 emissions, we did buses, pickup, codes. So what were you going to say?
Like buses or
Okay, yeah. So buses, transportation, I would say maybe Mr. Danziger at your board. Good. Other like big item topics regarding climate change.
Well, solar panels,
Oh yeah.
right? So the actual energy, not just emissions, but energy production that you can do on
Does
campus.
anybody know another kind of unique way that we have energy production here on campus? What do we? No, we don't have arc reactors. We have geothermal.
Nuclear energy.
We have a geothermal well. I watched it being dug. It was very fascinating. It was like an amazing process to get down there. It's there's like up on the high slope is where one of the drills went down, and outside in the lower school playground, like outside the library, there is another one. So we do have geothermal, which is actually some of you guys, I'm sure, will do some research.
Two things. One is like the amount of like energy
So
also like I don't know if they have like any like little friendly computers, but I bet like we could switch like the computer that's probably like the plastic.
Yep. Excellent. So that's a whole topic, right? Tech, looking at servers, looking at e-waste, which is like how many devices do we go through a year? How efficient are we on that front is a big question.
That because we use smartboards so much.
The projector? Yeah, this projector is actually pretty massive in terms of like the lumens and the output. The first one we got, which was an average projector, like most of the smartboard ones, was 3,000 lumens. That means like how much light is moving through. And it was terrible. You could barely see it up here. This one is a real deal. This is 8,000 lumens. So we're an energy hog here at the CCI. We need to combat that. Yep.
It's so cold.
So what you did, Mr. Grossman will send us this data later, that the heating bill this past year has been astronomically higher than recent years. So we're leaving windows open.
Yep.
That air filter, right?
Yeah, this past couple of years. Wait for it.
Your attention, please. 5 minutes remaining in this session. Please begin cleanup protocol.
Maybe like kind of also like in the dining hall. Like I saw your like that Chris bottle and like also like those bottles and like that one bottle there.
Oh yeah.
And those and like also like the things that we all get our food in. Yeah, like the boxes.
Yeah.
You could like make those like.
Yeah, COVID has really actually taken us a step back in terms of greening up the space.
I was gonna say like in terms of electricity and like lights. I think like this, like if there's sunlight in, like if you put like this glass in there, like you don't have to put like that. There's
More.
glass
Yep.
have no windows.
Yeah.
I know what Harrison was saying, but if we have to like if we like have to keep using the wrong functions and all that.
Yep.
For the example, some like plane companies are switching to like they do like flights where the food you get and like drinks from like free to the gas station or all that. So you want to keep using something like that.
So cool. Mr. J had one. Mr. J.
Maybe this was said. I saw that the CO2 emissions. I just wondered if we talked about the the size of the buses, and whether those are efficient, or what's their MPG. Imagine it's not very good. And also, somewhat related is any incentive, people that drive to school every day, mostly teachers and staff, but is there a way to do carpooling or more efficiency, or even incentive for faculty? Charging stations. Charging stations could be good, or carpooling could be great.
You get higher salary.
But is there a way to create an incentive for teachers to opt in, or staff to opt in? Or maybe even boys to opt into carpools, right? How about for boys to ride their bike and walk? I've heard about boys that get rides to school, but they live in West Newton. They live down the street. Should they be riding a bike possibly, or could we create an incentive system?
Okay, are we missing anything from the big picture topics here? Mr. Danziger, how do you feel about the topics we have?
The only other one I would think about is you could look at our fields themselves for athletics, the ways that we are caring for them, maybe fertilizers, pesticides, things like that. You could look at our fields, our athletic facilities, as well as the gyms themselves. And I know Mr. Grossman, there are actually solar panels on the athletic center, looking at kind of the efficiency of them, where we can put them otherwise, things like that. As well as comparing something like a rink to an athletic center, both standalone buildings of similar size.
Awesome.
One thing that I think about a lot is how far away a lot of the supplies that we use at our school come from, and how that contributes to emissions.
I was gonna say turf.
Yeah.
It's like I see like the baseball fields, like they're always like doing something with their
Yeah.
whether it's like sprinkles, or
Tiger.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, also like in the basketball court, there's sometimes like freezing cold. It's not like too cold. There's additional AC in the basketball court.
All right. So, really nice job coming up with the big buckets. Now we're going to start funneling you a little further into what you're actually going to do. So your exit ticket for today is to write your name on at least two. You can do more than two, but at least 2 stickies. Write your name nice and clear so we can read and we know who's who. And you're going to place it next to any topic that you are interested in doing further research. We're going to ignore locations for now, but we're going to come back. We think the locations are actually going to be dictated more by your topics. So at least 2. Once you've placed your name, you guys are free to go.
You want to?
Yeah, we'll get photos of both of these, and then we'll also, if you have time right now. We'll get a picture.
You guys, if you do guys, I wanted to make one announcement. Check my Fessy. We're gonna switch.
Oh, it's time for us to go.
Check my Fessy to assignment for tonight, okay? I know I didn't check you.
Sterling Group, it's time for us to go. So let's make sure we put things safe in our
Do
classroom.
not do it based on what your friends are doing. Do it based on what you are going to be interested in and what you think will be exciting to you.
The electric and the heating are two separate things.
Make sure they stick.
It literally feels
These are from the library. Boo!
I'm gonna put a bunch of tape up here, guys.
Here.
Guys, you need to make sure they stick.
Here. If you have a sticky that's ready to go, here. Come get a piece of tape.
Guys, take stick up here. This one here.
Thank you.
You do as many as you want, but 2 at least.
No. If you had only 2 of them, we're more likely to get here.
Here's the tape here. If you are ready to stick.
Wow, how could you do that?
That's right, more so. All on the side here.
We need to take.
All right, Erica, thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, our recording is still recording.